the poorest, the most disadvantaged, the most vulnerable in our society, and indeed some of the most despised in our society, face losing a very basic human right, their entitlement to choose a solicitor of choice to represent them in relation to criminal proceedings. In England at the moment, we can see that the government proposed bringing in contracting. And by contracting, what they mean is that legal aid firms who presently provide legal aid services and criminal representation in courts throughout England will be asked to tender or make a bid so that they can provide legal aid services and representation in a particular area. The net result of that will be that yes, it may well drive down costs, yes, there may well be a saving. The government hope to save somewhere in the region of 17.5% in their annual budget. That may well happen, there may well be savings. However, the cost of those savings in the long term will be substantial, and I think that we will be placed in an irrecoverable position. The situation is that the firms who bid the lowest tender, or put the lowest tender in, will obviously be successful in winning the bid. But how do they provide a service at that level? Common sense tells us that they're going to have to cut costs, they're going to have to cut corners, and the choice that's presently available to the public and to the accused will no longer be available. Now, it seems to be the case that this is being considered at the moment in Scotland. I say it seems to be the case because recent reports from Kenny MacAskill, our Justice Minister, indicate that any proposal on such seemed to come from the Legal Aid Board, who would make inquiries and report to him in relation to that, whereas other people seem to think that it's a government-driven initiative. No matter what, clearly the Scottish Government and the Scottish Legal Aid Board will be looking over the border at what happens with contracting south of the border. Contracting represents a real serious threat to the vulnerable people in our society who need legal aid and need choice of representation. At the moment, a solicitor is chosen entirely on basis of merit. Cost doesn't come into it because legal aid is available in relation to nearly all serious offences. This is a serious entitlement that you have, but particularly a serious entitlement that those most vulnerable in our society have. Make sure that it's preserved. Go online today and sign the e-petition and make sure that questions are asked in Parliament in connection with this. It doesn't take much to do it. All you're required to do is go online today, sign the e-petition, and you'll know that you've done something to preserve the legal entitlement of representation in this country.